highlights of my day. Seen the thing on Twitter and glad you're safe. Yeah, that shit is crazy. I didn't sleep before, like I've slept since then, right? But I stayed up past that till like 2 p.m. ish, like 1:30 p.m. ish. Like I stayed up for a long time because they had to come fix my lock, and then that took way longer than it should have because I don't know, they took a detour before getting to the building. I don't even, man, whatever. For the people who don't know, I had a near break-in this morning. Like, I don't even know what time, like 3 or 4 a.m. or some shit. I don't remember. Like 3, when did I tweet it? 4:32 a.m. So it happened around 4 a.m. this morning. What happened was some fucking, oh my God. First, I'm gonna preface this by saying, my building is supposed to be a secure building. What I mean by that is that there are 2 doors. There's the front door that anyone can open, and then there's the second door that you need like a little key fob to hit the little scanner box to even get in the first place. And on top of that, there's supposed to be someone at the front desk that is seeing everyone in and out. And if they're not a building resident, then, you know, they fuck off and they can't come inside, or they have to have their ID like put into the system. Like it's supposed to be secure, right? I thought there is supposed to be someone that stays in the building overnight. So they have a day person and they're supposed to have a night person. Like, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago or like 2 weeks ago, I had came down late because my sleep schedule again was broken as fuck, and I came down to check my the mail room, and there someone was there. Mind you, this was like 10 p.m. ish, 11 p.m. ish, and the day person leaves at like 8 p.m. ish, right? So I'm like, hey, they got a night person. They hired an overnight person. That's great. That's amazing. That's hell yeah. So in my head, after that interaction, I'm like, oh, there's someone who stays here overnight. I'm just never down in the lobby at night. So like, how am I supposed to fucking see that, right? I'm under the impression that there's someone there at night. No. A tenant in my building. I don't know which one. I don't know what floor. I don't know any of that extra fucking stuff. But a tenant in the building, apparently, purposefully propped the front door open of the building. Not the front door that everyone can open, but the second door past the key fob. They propped that open on this big ass like potted plant thing that, first of all, to even push that shit from the corner it was in to the door, close enough to the door so it gets propped open, requires Hulk level strength. Like insane Hulk level strength. I know because I wanted to test it, because I was like, I always walk past it and that shit looks humongous. And if it's humongous and filled with hella dirt, who the fuck is pulling that? So I don't know what the dedication was. There was a lot of dedication, I guess, because I almost broke my back trying to do that shit. They moved the potted plant, propped the door open so that anyone, I mean anyone who's walking past can just open the front door and then walk right into the building. No key fob, no one at the front desk, nothing. They can just get in the building, easy peasy lemon fucking squeezy, right? Again, I was unaware of any of this before I talked to the police. And the plan was that the tenant who propped the door open was trying to set up another tenant or their roommate or whatever. The tenant is involved. They propped the door open so that this other group of people who do not live in this building could get in the building and find that tenant and beat the fuck out of them and jump them and whatever. Mind you, they're all under the influence. I don't know. I didn't ask if they were under the influence of just one thing or multiple things, but the stuff like the yelling and all that craziness was like, they had to be under the influence of multiple things, because ain't no way, right? They came in, they didn't, I guess because they're under the influence, they didn't remember or fully knew the other person that they were looking for's apartment number. They just remembered the last 2 digits. And I have a similar apartment number. I have the last 2 digits and a different first digit. They had the wrong floor. They were looking for the person who was a floor below me. But because my apartment is like right up the stairs, like right up the first flight of stairs, and it's the first one you see, it was the first one they saw, and they started trying to like break in my door, kicking the fuck out of it, like police style, ramming that shit. Which, first of all, what the fuck? Terrified the shit out of me, trying to jiggle the lock. The door, like the lock itself, like the wooden latch part in the door cracked. The lock itself on the like actual door was fucked up, and like there's dents in the front part of my door. Now, I don't really care about the dents. I mean, it's like, it's the least of my problems, right? You know, it's whatever. And then afterwards, like after that happened, that went on for a couple of minutes. Like they tried to get in for a couple of minutes. I'm freaking the fuck out. I live alone, but I live in a studio apartment, right? So think about it. If they did get inside, where the fuck am I hiding? I'm not hiding nowhere. Like maybe in the bathroom, but like, what the fuck am I gonna do, right? So after a few minutes and they couldn't get in, they were close to, like, I feel like if they kept drunkenly or under the influence-ly kicking at the fucking door, they would have got in and they would have probably beat my ass or something. I don't know. After that stopped for a couple minutes, they went outside the building, around the back, through the gate, and started throwing stuff at my window. Thank God, right, that I have mesh on the outside of my window, some strong ass Home Depot mesh, or I don't know what the fuck they put out there, right? There was mesh there, so whatever they were throwing at my window, which I didn't really look because at that point I'm like in the bathroom hiding and calling the police, right, after they were fucking with my door. It ripped the mesh a little bit, but it didn't break my window, thank God, because that would have been a whole other can of worms that I can't afford, right? I called the police. They were like, yeah, we actually just got another call from the same building from somebody else for a situation. And I'm like, well, where the fuck y'all at? Can y'all pull up a little faster? After the window thing happened, I'm like, oh my God, bro, like this is the worst nightmare. I live alone, I'm by myself, and I like, who am I gonna call? I got nobody. So I think it was like 20 or 30 minutes, way too fucking long if you ask me. The police finally show up. They knock on the door, and then they, you know, I give them my statement and whatever, and they were like, well, we're gonna go, we came to you first because you're the first apartment upstairs. We're gonna go talk to whoever else called from this location and figure out the story and whatever. Like an hour later, it took them a long ass time. An hour later, they came back, they pulled me out the apartment. Not pulled me out, but like, you know, asked me to leave out the apartment nicely. They were really nice. They were really nice. One even was cracking jokes to make me feel better, which thank God. Thank fucking God. They came out and told me the entire situation, which was that, you know, the group of people were looking for a completely different resident. I wasn't their target, but, you know, they got their information wrong. And that was crazy, right? Of course, that was a sigh of relief that I wasn't like the primary target, you know, because that would have been great. That would have made today like even fucking crazier, right? That's like, oh, thank God. But in my head, I'm like, who the fuck is trying to break into my apartment anyways? Like I ain't got nothing. Who the fuck would even? I only had one like name or person in my head, but it was like a little bit unlikely because it's been a while, you know what I mean? So I was like trying to think of that in my head while they were like questioning other people, like, what the fuck? Like maybe they peeked through the window and saw the PC setup, but like you can't see from the window, you know what I mean? Well, anyways, after that, right, getting a hold of my landlord was so fucking annoying. Like, I get it, right? It's early in the morning. At that point, right, by the time the police left, it's like 6 a.m., 6:30. They were here for a couple hours, like 7 a.m. or ish, right? They were here for like, yeah, like 6:37. They were here for a couple hours, right? And it's just like, my lock is cracked, right? We know the situation isn't that I'm the target, but it's like now I'm traumatized. This is like the scariest situation I've ever had to deal with in my life. And on top of that, I'm alone. I couldn't call my mom. My mom is weak and fragile. Also, if I call her for anything at that time in the morning, she's coming over here and beating my ass, right? She can't leave the house. I couldn't go like to her place. You know what I mean? Like it's a complicated situation. And I'm like thinking to myself, bro, I have like nobody. Like, if this was a worst case scenario version of this story, which the worst case scenario is that they were after me or after something that I had and whatever, and it was more dangerous, right? where would I go? Who would I go to? Who would I call? Ghostbusters? Cause bitch, ain't nobody else, you know? Like, damn, I ain't got nobody. I really am alone. Which was a sad fucking thought. It made me very sad, cause it's like, bro, fuck, you know what I mean? Like, this shit is whack. So I was just kind of awake the whole time, propping stuff against the door. Like, I know it sounds silly because it's like, well, circuit, they weren't after you, but like, think about what you would do in that situation. You'd be paranoid as fuck. I'm already mentally ill, right? So I already have anxiety normally, but this shit spiked it so high. Any sound now that I hear around my apartment, whether it's outside the window, not like it freaks me out. Literally, I heard a dog bark outside the window when I woke up. I'm freaking the fuck out. Freaking the fuck out. Like, it's crazy. I didn't even want to sleep. I literally passed out because I was that fucking tired. The landlord is usually informed when the cops are called because they're the owner, usually of the property. They have to be one of the people the police make contact with. Well, you're forgetting that I live in the ghetto and none of these people actually give a fuck about their protocols and rules that they're supposed to do. Because the door was already propped open, the police just walked in and questioned us. We were all trying to get a hold of the fucking landlord and she just didn't fucking answer for like the longest goddamn time, and it was so fucking frustrating. The only person that they could get a hold of was the maintenance man. And what the fuck is he supposed to do? Nothing. So like, you know, it was so fucking whack. Eventually, she fucking sent someone out to fix my lock, and I don't have to pay for that shit. And if I did, I wouldn't be paying for that shit because first of all, what am I paying rent for? We don't even feel secure in the building that we live in. These niggas easily got access to the building. Easily. So what the fuck are we paying so much for? Like, what? It's like, oh my God. It's so, it's so fucking annoying and frustrating, and it was upsetting. And so my paranoia and fear quickly turned to anger. Because it's like, bitch, are you kidding me? Like, oh my, it was awful. Literally awful. So I had to go through that traumatizing ass thing almost basically alone. If it wasn't for Scripted, which is another Beast Souls member, and fucking like my friends, when they finally woke up, like were checking in on me and stuff, it was like, bro, I would have just been dealing with this entire thing by myself. I have since then ordered one of those little door stoppers, you know, like long sticks and a little alarm wedge to go in the bottom of my door because I just don't feel safe, period, at all. Even if I wasn't their target of the break-in, I just don't feel safe in this building because it's like, if you as the building owner don't even give a fuck about actual safety protocols and ensuring that we feel safe in this building, like, who's to stopping from them from trying this entire thing again? And who's from stopping? Is that the phrase? I don't know. Who's stopping them from like coming back? Because technically I could be deemed as a snitch because I called the police. Although someone else did call the police too. I don't know who else called the police. I wasn't involved in all that stuff, but it's like fucked. So after I passed out, I slept for the rest of the day, woke up at 8-7 p.m. and now I just like, I'm all over the place. Security dude get fired? That's the thing. That's the whole thing. There isn't one. They didn't even hire a security dude for the night shift. There isn't one. There isn't one. There isn't one. What's gonna happen though is that we have cameras. So they are going to, or they have, or already did, I don't fucking know, I've been asleep all day. Checking the cameras to find out, or to figure out which tenant was the one who propped the door open. They're gonna get their due punishments. I sent an email, very not nice one, I will say, but like, given the situation, they don't deserve me being fucking nice right now, about my fucking concerns about the security of this building and the lack thereof, and that they need to do some shit or else I'm just not gonna pay rent. So, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? And this situation, although came out with not the worst case scenario, what if it did? Like, what if it was the literal worst case scenario? You know, people, when break-ins happen, people die. So like, you know, God forbid, this desk isn't made out of wood, but knock on wood, you know, that was the worst case scenario of this situation. So welcome to the world of PTSD. We have coffee if that helps. No, it does not. No, it does not. Um, yeah, I want to say that the sound of knocking on the door, I would, man, like when the police came to knock back on my door to like give me an update of the situation, I almost pissed myself, literally. The fuck you paying for? If this kind of shit can happen so easily, they either sort this out or they should be paying you. That's what I'm saying. Also, hi Niles. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, it's awful. And I have been like, after everything was said and done and the guy was fixing my lock, I was like sitting on the bed crying because it was like originally like fight or flight mode, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you're just kind of trying to focus on figuring stuff out, and I guess shock is the word because I was scared, yeah, but it's like after everything was said and done and I was able to sit there and like think about it, I was like, fuck. I think it was less the break-in though, and the more it's like, bro, if this situation was like happen again, I would have equally no one to go to for help. I'm not laughing because it's funny, I'm laughing because it's fucked up, and this is how I cope. It's like, damn. This lone wolf shit really is lonely, and it's not even on purpose. You know what I mean? I ain't got no family. The only family I got is my mom, and she is sickly and very old, and you know, she can't do nothing. I don't really talk to my family, and so besides her and her boyfriend, you know. So yeah, that was my day. That was literally my entire day.